तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना प्रहसितं प्रिय प्रेम वीक्षणं विहरणं च ते ध्यानमङ्गलम् रहसि संविदो या हृदि स्पृश कुहकनो मना क्षोभयन्ति चलसि यद्व्रजात् चारयन् पशु नलिनसुन्दरं नाथ ते पदम् शीलतृणाङ्कुरै सीदतीति न कलिलतामना कान्त गच्छति दिनपरीक्षये नीलकुन्तलै वनरुहाननं बिभ्रदावृतम् घनरजस्वलं दर्शयन्मुहुः मनसि न स्मरं वीरयच्छसि प्रणतकामदं पद्मजार्चितं धरणिमण्डनं ध्येयमापदि चरणपङ्कजं शन्तमं च ते रमणनस्तने स्वर्पयादिहन् सुरतवर्धनं शोकनाशनं स्वरितवेणुना शुष्टुचुम्बितम् इतररागवे स्मारणं नृणां वितरवीरणस्ते यद्रामृतम् अटति यद्भवान् आहनिकाननं त्रुटियुगायते त्वामपश्यताम् कुटिलकुन्तलं श्रीमुखं च ते जडौदीक्षता पक्ष्मकृदृशाम् पतिसुतान्वय भ्रातृबान्धवान् अतिविलङ्घ्यते अन्त्यच्युतागता गतिविदस्तवोद्गीतमोहिता हितवयोषिता कस्त्यजेन्निशि रहसि संविदं हृच्छयोदयं प्रहसिताननं प्रेमवीक्षणं बृहदुराश्रियो वीक्ष्यदामते मुहुरति स्पृहा मुह्यते मना व्रजवनौकसा व्यक्तिरङ्गते वृजिनहन्त्र्यलं विश्वमङ्गलम् त्यजमनार्चनस्त्वत्स्पृहात्मना स्वजनहृद्रुजा यन्निषूधनम् यत्ते सुजातचरणाम्बुरुहं स्तनेषु भीता शनैः प्रियदधिमहि कर्कशेषु तेनाटवीम् अटसि तद्व्यततेन किं स्वित् पूर्पादिभिः भ्रमद्भिर्भवदायुषां न तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना। श्री गोपी गीत की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय। Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you.
So beautiful, Mataji, so beautiful. Loved it. Hare Krishna. Welcome back. Please accept my humble obeisances. All good Srila Prabhupada. Welcome back. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganaragunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadavaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Saganalalita Shri Vishakhavitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenbandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम पदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरतिशे नमः. O most magnificent incarnation, you are Krishna himself, appearing as Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You have assumed the golden complexion of Srimati Radharani, and you are widely distributing pure love of Krishna. We offer respectful obeisances unto you. Krishnavarnam Tvisha Krishnam Sangopangostraparshadam Yagna hi Sankirtana Prayer Yajanti Sumedhasaha. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregation chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Nana Sastra Vicharnai Kanipunau Sharadharma Samstapakau Lokanam Hitakarinau Tribhuane Manyau Sharanyakarau Radha Krishna पदारविंद भजना आनंदेन मत्तालिकौ वंदे रूप सनातन रघुयुगौ श्रीजीव गोपालकौ. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis of Vrindavan, namely Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatana Goswami, Shri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Shri Raghunath Dasa Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, Shri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizing and studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus, they are honored all over the three worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Shri Radha and Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Narom Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat नष्टप्रायेष्व भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय श्री प्रभुपाद जय श्री प्रभुपाद गोविंदमादि पुरुषं तमं भजामि Hare Krishna everyone. Please accept my brothers and sisters. All great Srila Prabhupada. Welcome back. So today we'll do the second part, but let me share with my screen with you. Okay. Everybody can see my screen?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. So I just, this few hours before, I sent a message to my core group that to remind them that we used to do this recapping, and I thought it was serving really wonderful purpose, very, very useful purpose, so that to connect with the lesson that we do, the previous lessons, major highlights, if we really recap, then it helps to continue with the next lesson. So, but that has to be done very briefly, you know. So here I'm going to show you with the example how it should be done, okay, I would like you to do it. So today I'm going to do it, and I will give this couple slides at the most, no more than 2 slides. So today's actually it's a 1 slide, and that's how I would like you to do. Don't summarize the entire lecture, because I want you to touch the highlights. Highlights mean take home messages. Okay. So you have answers should be very, very brief. So, and other thing I would like to humbly request the person who is going to be doing the recapping, he is just going to moderate it actually, I like the audience, all of you should be really participating in that recapping. Wherever you guys miss something, then only the moderator, the one who is recapping will remind you what is to be said, Okay, so for this instance, I'm going to ask questions. So some of you really should volunteer to answer, okay? And I expect everyone to participate actively. Every week I keep promoting that don't be just a statue, be active participants. Okay, just don't be like a decorating statue, staying just not participating at all. Then you'll get a lot out of it. Okay, so with that, so what did we cover last week and what we want to do it? Okay, so here is the first of the 2 slides for recapping, and this is what we are doing. Is lesson 30, and chapter 1 we are doing, and chapter 1 has 69 verses. So that's the reason why rather reluctantly I split to 2 parts because of the magnitude, 69 verses, and the philosophical complexity also. The most important part is we are going to do it today. So this is the lesson, which is a prelude before the Lord Krishna's advent. Okay, setting a stage. And this one is really the introduction to that prelude. Okay? So here what you see, what we covered in this 2 parts series what we did was the 4 thematic approach, right, for this lesson 1. And remember, the past tense, everything should be very, very familiar to you. We are going to emphasize our Acharyas commentaries, okay? So there are 4 themes, and there are 69 verses, right? So I divided this 69 verses in the following way. First 13 verses where Parikshit Maharaj, he is requesting Sukadeva Goswami to narrate. How does he expect him to narrate, you know? So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sub themes are there. So that is what we are going to do, the recap of number 1. So first 2 themes are the one which I already covered last week. The other one is Mother Earth expresses her grief to Lord Brahma, who petitions Kshirodaksha Vishnu from the shore of the Milk Ocean. Okay, so these 2 themes I covered. So what are the main highlights? This is what we want to do, what I expect you to do, okay? So here I'm going to demonstrate how it should be done. Then the recapping, there is a part 2, themes 3 and 4 that we'll be doing today, okay? So I won't go into that. So here is that recapping of this part 1, which we did yesterday. Last week. So here, the 2 themes, right? So theme 1, and these are the sub themes. Parikshit Maharaj is requesting the first 13 verses. The first verse, it begins the compound that is used in the verse, Soma Suryaha. So what is the issue there? Okay, so today I'm asking you a question. Anybody volunteers? What was the issue in that? So nobody's
हरे
ready.
कृष्णा प्रभु प्रभु जी
Yes.
हरे कृष्णा बिकॉज
Yes.
सोमवंश में कृष्ण भगवान का अपीयरेंस हुआ था दैट्स व्हाई सोम में पहले है
So what was the issue? So what was the issue?
Yeah, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, last week you mentioned that Surya dynasty, Surya is above moon, or that was a confusion, right? Surya comes first, dynasty, and then moon comes first, and then Surya, sun.
No.
No.
Surya usually comes first, right? Surya as a Raghuvanshi, Sri Ramchandraji came first. Chandravansha came afterwards. So why this verse begins with Chandravansha followed by Suryavansha? That was the issue.
Okay.
क्योंकि भगवान पूर्ण पुरुषोत्तम स्वरूप में आए थे पूर्ण ऐश्वर्य के साथ.
In which dynasty did he come?
यदु डायनेस्टी, ययाति के पुत्र यदु.
So, and Yadu dynasty come in which Vamsha? Chandravamsha or Suryavamsha?
Chandravamsha.
So that is the reason why Soma dynasty is mentioned first, even though Suryavamsha came first, remember? So that is what I wanted to answer that very quickly. Krishna appeared in the Soma dynasty. Soma means Chandravamsha. Then the second point was this particular verse, Amshena Autarenya Vishnur Viryani Samsha. Amshena. See, this is a vibhakti, okay? Amshena means from his Amsha. Whose Amsha? Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu's Amsha was the one which is being referred to here. So the question is, what does Sukadeva Goswami refer to that? And our Acharyas help us to understand that. So when they say Vishnu's Amsha, who was he referring to that?
Balram, Bhaiji, Balram.
Very good, Bhaiji, very good. So why Balram ji? and not Krishna?
Because Balram is related to Rama.
Not quite.
ना
Anybody
प्रभु जी,
else?
बलराम जो है, बलराम जी के द्वारा ही सारे अवतार, सब एक्सपांशन, पूरा क्रिएशन बलराम जी के द्वारा ही हुआ है. That's why Balram is mentioned.
You are coming to the point, but not quite. Look at my slide. If it meant Krishna, then there is a violation of Krishna to Swayam Bhagwan. Krishna is not the Amsha of Vishnu. If it is so, then Bhagwan Vishnu koi matlab hi nahi rehta hai na. So the only other option that Balram ji has to be Lord Vishnu coming from. Okay. Even that is also not exactly correct. But nonetheless, it is not Krishna. It is not Krishna.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. The third point. So that is verse number 1, 2. Now, verse 3, not in detail, but elaborate. What was the issue there? This is Parikshit Maharaj is requesting Sukadeva Goswami. Not in detail, but elaborate. They both seem like same meaning, but not exactly same meaning. What is it? What is it that Parikshit Maharaj is hinting there?
यस प्रभु जी, दो ही श्लोक में जब 9th कैंटो में बता दिया कृष्ण की सब लीला को, तो परीक्षित महाराज ने कहा कि आप उसको डिटेल में मत बताएं, मगर उसको विस्तार करिए, इलोबरेट करिए, डीपली थोड़ा समझाइए और ज्यादा
elaborate, उसको emphasize those points in more verses, more number of verses, but emphasize that important point there. Very good, Mataji. Very good. Shabas. Now I want others to participate also, right? I don't want just Raksha Mataji and couple of you. I want those who are not participating, I want answers from them. Okay. So here is the verse number 4, which says, who will cease hearing such glorification of the Lord? This Parikshit Maharaj is saying in a negative way, but he is saying something positive. Who will cease hearing such glorification of Lord Shri Krishna?
Butcher, Bhaiji, Butcher.
नहीं माता जी, अब ठहरिए, अब जो लोग दूसरे लोग नहीं बोल रहे, उनको मैं उनसे सुनना चाहता हूँ. प्लीज माफ कीजिए.
ओके भाईजी.
दूसरों को भी चांस मिलना चाहिए ना.
जी भाईजी.
Who else?
Whoever like eats even dogs.
Dog
meat.
eaters.
Yeah, dog eaters, dog meaters, and dog eaters. Also will get purified is the point, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Very good point. Thank you very much. Okay. अब फिर आते हैं वर्स 5, 6, 7. तीन वर्षों में हमारे आचार्य हमें बताते हैं कि परीक्षित महाराज ये 3 क्वेश्चन करने में उनका क्या आशय था, उनका अपना मन में क्या आशय था, वो बात है. ओके. तो who is saying that? So what was the intention when Parikshit Maharaj asked these 3 question 5, 6, 7 verses, 3 verses? What is it hinting? Okay, from our Acharya's point of view. So number 5, in his grandfather's army. So number 5, the verse was also 3-part of this question, I think, right? So what was the question 5, where he describes the overwhelming power and number on the Kauravas side, and his grandfathers, the Pandavas, were outgunned 7 to 11. 7 Akshoni Sena was representing Pandavas. Whereas Kauravas side, there are 11 Akshoni Senas. No.
Yeah.
So what was the point here?
They just cross it just like a cow. That small leg is there, no problem. Okay, so just like that, by the mercy of Krishna, that is what he mentions.
So even the overwhelming strength was there in opponent's army, but Krishna made it so insignificant.
Yeah, cow.
Yeah, in favor of
calf. Yeah,
Pandavas, in favor of the Pandavas. So the analogy was given. So what does that analogy, cow hoof print? What does it indicate?
Footprint. He just crossed how easily. In that way, they crossed this ocean of army. Prabhu. That is what comparison he has
So
given.
it was the army was Kaurav's army was like an ocean, right?
Ocean.
The entire ocean was reduced to like a small hoof print of a baby calf, right? And
Yes.
in that they they passed that much, and that much also they used Krishna as their boat, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, so that
Yes.
was the verse
Analogy.
number 5 and 6. What was verse 7 about?
Uh,
Read my PowerPoint. You'll immediately.
should I tell
No,
you? Should I?
no,
should
no,
I tell
Mataji,
you
no,
verses?
Mataji. I'm Mataji, please. Benji, please बुरा मत मानिए. मैं
नहीं
चाहता हूँ कि
नहीं 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 भाई
लोग
जी नहीं
और भी तो participate करें ना. मैं ये चाहता हूँ.
जी जी
Somebody who has not spoken thus far, please. Other than
Sure.
Sharat Prabhuji, other than Sharat Prabhuji.
श्योर भाई जी मैं बुरा नहीं मानूंगी.
Yeah, thank you. शुक्रिया. और कौन रह गया? Look at how
Okay, Prabhuji. So it's there here. Actually, he was saved by Lord in the womb of Uttara, right? He's talking about, first of all, he talks about how insignificant Pandava's army, and then he goes on, and then he talks about his own Lord saved him. That's what he's telling.
Yeah. How did he say? How did Lord save him? Saved him?
By entering, like we discussed last time, you mentioned Krishna entered in the womb, and he was saved, protected from Brahmastra of Ashwatthama.
Good point. So Parishit Maharaj is almost burned to death, right? Yeah. Krishna revived. So how did Krishna help reviving Parishit Maharaj? How did that happen?
It's a mention that he's a like a thumb-like figure. That's what mentions, and then he took a club.
No, don't go in detail. Just answer to the point. Exactly, answer to the point, because we don't have much time. So Krishna entered in his mother's womb, right?
Yeah, uncovered.
Yeah, Krishna actually entered in the womb of his mother Uttara, and then he was yielding the Sudarshan Chakra, right? So that image, Parishit Maharaj remembered while he was still as an embryo in mother's womb, and Krishna appeared like a size of a thumb, that he could see that. And then Krishna abolished the effect of this nuclear weapon, revived Parishit Maharaj, and at the same time, of course, he also helped his mother Uttara's life also he saved, right? So that was the point. So we need to be concise, and the answer should be right at the point, okay, the question, without going into too many details. So that was, then what is the verse 8 to 13? Parishit detailed inquiry. What was the Parishit detailed inquiry? Somebody else I want to answer, okay? So now I want all of you to do your homework. Revise the lesson. Actually, you should be studying that lesson before the lecture, and then after the lecture is over, that same night, same day, either next day, you should revive it. Then you'll remember everything. So what was the Parishit detailed inquiry about? Anybody?
Ji, how Balram ji was shifted from the womb of Devki to Rohini was about 9th verse.
All right. Anybody else just want to elaborate a little bit more?
And how the pastimes were there at Mathura and Vrindavan was asked by Parikshit Maharaj. And then, so Lord is not, his body is not materialistic, but it is spiritual. And
So basically, he's prompting Sukadeva Goswami, Sukadeva Maharaj, to really elaborate. Remember, he wanted not just to narrate, but elaborate. So he's prompting Sukadeva Goswami specifically to elaborate those points. So more.
One more point, most important point.
हाँ जी बोलिए बोलिए.
कंस मामा है, मामा को कैसे मार दिया? अगर देवकी के ब्रदर है तो वो मामा है तो जो.
So that's not right according to Shastra, right?
हाँ.
So thereby, now Sukadeva Goswami is going to narrate the whole story. The demoniac activity of Kamsa, even though he was supposed to be his mama, but how did he harass Krishna's parents, Devaki and Vasudevji? And all that detailed story, Parikshit Maharaj wanted Sukadeva Goswami to elaborate on that. See that he's just prompting. Okay, now the second thing. Mother Earth expresses her grief to Brahmaji, who petitions Shirodaksha Vishnu from the shore of the Milk Ocean. So these are verses 14 through 26. And then again, I did it in two sub-themes. First, Mother Earth goes in the form of a cow and appealed with tears in her eyes to Lord Brahma. Okay. And Lord Brahma, what did he do that? So these are first verses 14 through 18. He goes to Lord Brahma, she goes to Lord Brahma and appeals. Then what did Lord Brahma did in order to respond to her appeal? He took other devatas, especially Lord Shiva, right? Lord Indra and others. And why did he took Lord Shiva? Because Lord Shiva is very, very dear to Lord Vishnu. Okay. There are other reasons also, but this is the main reason. And then he went to Shirodaksha Vishnu, whose abode is in this material world. Within this milk ocean, there is an island, Sveta Dvipa, the white island. But Brahma did not go even there. He remained on the shore and petitions Shirodaksha Vishnu. What was the reason for that? Even Brahma is not permitted to go all the way there. Okay?
Yes, correct.
And how did Shirodaksha Vishnu responded to that appeal? How
I think it is. He entered into the heart.
1% at a time. Prasad Prabhu. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think he has given the message into his heart, Prabhu.
Yeah, how did he do that? How did he do that? Akashvani, right?
Correct. Yes. Akashvani.
Akashvani
Yes.
means what?
Akashvani.
What is Akashvani? What is Akashvani? It was the voice of the Devas. It was the voice of the Devas.
Sound vibration.
It was the voice of the Devas came through, right? So that Akashvani, and that too also Lord Brahma could hear, not other Devas. And Brahma then relates to the Devas who were there with him. And what was the instruction? What were the instructions that Shirodaksha Vishnu transmitted to Lord Brahma in the Akashvani? And that, remember, instructions were directly from Lord Shri Krishna. Shirodaksha Vishnu is just an expansion. So Shirodaksha Vishnu actually transmitted Krishna's expansion. What did he say? Yes.
Do not worry, I will take care of the
Hare
situation.
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
He
Very
said,
good. Prasad Prabhu,
he said to the Devas to. He said,
just 1 minute. Mataji, Benji, 1 minute. Prasadji, complete that sentence. What was it he said?
Prabhuji, okay, the message is, he said like, I will be completely taking care of it.
When you
So
say
nothing
I,
to-
who is the I? It was not Sridhar
It's
Vishnu
Krishna.
himself.
Krishna,
It's
Krishna.
Krishna.
Yeah. So Sridhar Vishnu said Krishna already knows
Yeah, Krishna
the
already. Correct.
pain of Mother Earth, and he already made a plan that he will be coming himself as he is, right?
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
And then he is going to take care of that issue that Mother Earth raised to annihilate all the demoniac kings, right? And their fellings of armies. And then what was the other instruction he gave?
He said that all the devatas should take birth in
Very good, very good, Bhanji. आप really study करती है, मतलब that's great.
Yes, Prabhu.
अर्चना
So,
भाई
And
जी
knowledge
अर्चना माता जी ने
expanding
बताया
areas
अभी
of Buddha, na?
अर्चना माता जी ने
yeah, good.
Mhm.
So see, now this is how we should be doing recapping, right?
Recap.
In
Understood,
just
Prabhu.
about less than 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, we can do it. So that's I want you to do. So next demonstration will be done by Sharat Prabhuji next week. Okay, what we are going to do it today. What I'm going to do today,
Okay.
Sharat Prabhuji's turn will be next week, and followed by, I gave all the particular order. Okay, he'll be followed. Sharat Prabhuji will be followed by Archana Mataji. Okay. And remember this red letters, big letters, I already mentioned. Keep track of that, okay? Pay special attention to that. Recapping just the highlights. Please don't try to make an attempt to summarize the entire lecture. So it should be done no more than 15 minutes at the most.
Prabhuji,
Right?
in question answer form, like you did just now,
Yeah,
asking
that
the
is the way.
question and
So the person who is going to recap, just like what Sharat Prabhuji is going to do, he is going to just moderate. He's going to facilitate that. But rest of you also should be helping him. That's the idea. He doesn't need help. But the idea is to, so the entire class can participate. So entire class will have to study, attend with great attention. That's the idea, okay? That's how we are going to get the most of it in
so
this
wonderful
entire
idea,
10 to
Prabhuji.
10.
Thank you.
See how I did that. That's the way I want you to do that. Not just Sharat Prabhu is not going to do everything himself. He is going to facilitate, prompt all of you. Just how did I prompt you, all of you, right? All right, let's continue. So that was what we did last week. So today there's a heavy dose of philosophical complexity, okay? The main point I want you to take home, what I'm going to do in today's session, the second part of it, is really you have to understand the pain that Vasudevji is going through. That Kamsa, when he heard that Akashvani, the eighth child, remember there's an emphasis, the eighth child. Akashvani did not say eighth son for a reason. Okay. Ashtam Garbha did not specify Ashtam Putra. Why? Because remember the Ashtam Garbha was actually shown, Yogamaya comes there, right? So Kamsa will have to believe that was to bewilder him, because he was under the impression the Ashtam eighth son will come. And instead, it turns out it was Yogamaya. Okay, so he wanted, the main purpose was Kamsa, to bewilder Kamsa. Okay, we'll go through the story now. And remember, every one of you, I'm very sure everyone knows the pastime, okay? But we are going to go through the Acharyas commentaries, their version, what real the inner meaning, hidden meanings of those pastimes, okay? That is what we are going to emphasize. So we are going to have to assume that everyone knows the pastime. Okay. So here we are going to go through this text 27 through 55 of 69 and then rest of it. Okay. So there are 6 sub-themes. I came up with that. First, verse 27-28 is the glorification of Mathura city itself, Mathura city and Mathura district. And you'll be surprised what Mathura stands for. Second part, second sub-theme, after marrying Devaki, remember the whole thing is bypass that we'll be hearing later on when Vasudevji and Devaki getting married and so on like that. Later on it comes. So after marrying Devaki, Vasudeva was returning home with his bride Devaki on a chariot, volunteered to be driven by Kamsa out of his great love for Devaki. Now, who was Devaki? His cousin sister. You know, Kamsa's father, who was Kamsa's father?
Ugrasen.
Ugrasen.
Okay, that's good answer.
Ugrasen.
Okay, and cousin sister, so that means Devaki was whose daughter?
Ugrasen's brother's
Ugrasen's
daughter.
brother's daughter. Yeah.
What was his name? What was his
Devak.
name?
Devak. Devak की
Devaka,
बेटी
right?
देवकी.
हाँ.
And that is why uske Devak ke naam se uske Devaki naam pada, right?
Yes.
Oh.
Right. So that's good. And we are going to hear some background story also. Actually, Kamsa was not really the real biological son of Maharaj Ugrasena. We'll hear that story. So
Oh.
yeah, in question.
No. Yeah, good.
Okay.
I'm good.
So that is text 29 to 33, right? And the third theme is sub-theme is text 34, 35, 36. This is about another Akashvani happening now. When an ominous voice warned Kamsa that Devaki's 8th child, Ashtam Garbha, would actually kill him, not would, will kill him. He was immediately ready to kill Devaki. So all that so-called love for his cousin sister completely disappeared in just moments. And he was ready to kill Devaki right at that time. So the fourth sub-theme, text 37 to 45, now look at the dilemma Vasudeva is facing. Here is this demonic personality in Kamsa. Okay. Normally it's very difficult to reason such a person, such a very cruel person, evil personality. So he is coming up with 4 instructive approaches. It's really very, very interesting to see how our Acharyas really explain the whole thing. Okay. So 4-fold instructive approach to prevent Kamsa from killing his wife. So his immediate goal was to somehow prevent Kamsa. If Kamsa was ready to chop off her head with his sword, he did not have much time. So first, he gives some instructions, hoping that he'll be able to reason with Kamsa from killing his wife. Okay. But Kamsa was not satisfied with any of this 4-fold approach, because he was a demonic personality. All this he was saying that by committing sin, you'll be committing sin by killing your own sister. You'll be committing sinful activity and you'll be suffering the hellish planet. But the demoniac people don't care about all these things. So that 46, 47, 48 verses. Then what was the next available option for Vasudevji? That is where the real difficulty comes. That's where the philosophical complexity comes into play. Okay. Text 49 through 55. Just imagine just try to place yourself in the shoes of Vasudevji. And what a terrible churning of the heart must be going through in his heart. He didn't have much time. His job was to save, for the time being, his wife's life. In return, he was willing to sacrifice his newborn babies. So obvious question would arise, why would he do that? Why would he do that? That is the point where our Acharyas explain, and that's we'll go through that now, okay? So here, text 27-28, glorification of Mathura. Okay, I'm going to go very quickly. Here, many of you may not know, Mathura comes from the root word matha. Mathana matlab kya? Pata hai, how do we churn? Mathana means churn. Okay, just like in olden days, women used to do churning buttermilk, chas, and then get the butter out, right? That's how they do. So here, Mathura means this Mathura city is whole world is being churned. Churn of what? Jnaninam, tad bhakti yoginam. Both Brahma Jnana and the Bhakti Yoga. Mathura is involved that way. Both Brahma Jnana and Bhakti Yoga both. Cha volupyate. हमारे हिंदी में कहते हैं ना कि वलोवना. With this thing, you just churn the buttermilk, right? With the rod and with the rope, you churn, right? Hey, Nakawa Vallav Remasava, as a Hori Puno, Nakawa Vallav Remasava. That heaven Koli Giti, you have seen that? Have you heard that? It's a very famous Koli Giti, no?
Yes, yes,
Nakawa means,
Prabhuji.
when I was a kid, I used to love this thing in our play, in our colony, they used to do that. Nakawa Vallav Remasava. Vallav means this, just churn, this waves, with the iron, the wooden rod in the boat, they move rapidly. All these fishermen to do it quickly, because today is the Purnima, Holy Purnima, and better come quickly to the village, like that, So this is what it is. This Valupyate, that is from the word came Vallav. Vallav means churn it. Either by Bhakti Yoga or Brahma Jnana, Mathura is so called because of the essence of those two in it. It is coming from Gopal Tapani Upanishad. We did that course. So here there are Acharyas comments. Remember, most of these comments originate from Sridhar Swami Maharaj. But our Acharyas, Gaudiya Acharyas, they used to little bit modify, expand things like that. So Jiva Goswami cites this GTU verse, Gopal Tapani verse. For the Jnanis and the devotees, the world ceases to exist. Also, Mathura is called Puri, Mathura Puri. Actually, Mathura city was originally established by who? Anybody volunteer?
Shatrughna, Prabhuji.
Shatrughna.
Yeah, very good point. Very good point, Mataji. Very good. Shatrughna, who was Shatrughna?
राम जी के
Lord Ram's brother.
भाई.
Yeah, youngest brother, right?
Yes.
So
Yes, sir.
Shatrughna was the one who established the Mathura city. And this Sanatana Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says more. This Sur said, the first long back, it was Surasena. The whole district, Mathura district, used to call Surasena, okay? Don't confuse with the name Surasena, that was Vasudev's father, also was King Surasena. But originally there was one Surasena king that continued that, okay? So the county also used to call Surasena County. Surasena, of the abode of the Surasena country, lived many generations before Vasudevji's father who is also called Surasena. So it's a very ancient city, and it's a very rich history behind it. Since that time, the city and the district of Mathura had been the capital of all the Yadu kings, which are very intimately connected with Lord Shri Krishna, as he lives there eternally. So Mathura city is, the greatest importance is that Krishna continuously resides there eternally. Krishna took birth, chose that city to take birth. After Krishna's Avirbhava means his advent, appearance, taking birth. Okay. What is the opposite word, Avirbhava?
Tiroba.
Yes, very good, Mataji. Thank you. Tiroba means what?
Disappearance.
Disappearance. Very good. So after Krishna's Avirbhava, his amshas from Vaikuntha, Svetadvipa merged in him. So when Krishna descended as original Krishna as he exists in Golok Vrindavan Dham, all his expansions also came with him. All the expansions are within him when he came. Chaturviya expansion, so on like that, okay? And it was Vasudev expansion was the one that went to Mathura and then thereon afterwards to Dwarka. And it was Vasudev Krishna is the one who does all this annihilation of the demoniac personalities, demoniac kings, Whereas original Krishna, Vrindavan Krishna, never leaves Vrindavan. He remains there. That's the basis on which we'll talk about that original Krishna first appeared, unlike what is said in Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavatam, that Krishna appeared as the son of Devaki and Vasudevji, right? But actually, Krishna appeared from Yashoda Maya, and she also delivered Yogamaya. So Yogamaya is considered Anuja, younger sister. We'll go through that in the chapter 2. So conclusion of these pastimes are return to the respective abodes. So that's Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. So starting from that time, Mathura became the capital of the kings who were descendants of Yadu. Since then, all the Yadu kings were in Mathura. They formed the Mathura city as their capital. So Sanatana Goswami and Jiva Goswami. Mathura Puri is forever cherished by all the devas, including Lord Brahma, the chief demigod, and protected by Krishna's conch shell, chakra, club, saranga, po, and by Lord Balaram's club. The all-pervading Lord always abides there with Balarama, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, along with Rukmini, his potency. Those who come to Mathura dispel their sorrow. See that all the inauspicious thing that troubling in our heart, that can be completely abolished when you have the residence in Mathura city. This is given in Gopal Tapani Upanishad, that is quoted by Jiva Goswami. So that is the glorification of Mathura city and Mathura district. Vrindavan is part of Mathura district. That is given in this just couple of verses. Okay, 29 to 33. This is after marrying Devaki. Vasudevji was returning home with his bride on a chariot, and chariot was driven by Kamsa himself. He volunteered for that out of his affection for his cousin sister Devaki. An ominous voice suddenly appeared, okay, the Akashvani, warning him that Devaki's 8th child will kill him. I should have used the word will, not would. And our Acharyas comments. Some time ago, Surasen's son, Vasudevji, married Devaki. Now, this is later on, we are going to hear more details about it. But here, the story is taking that point of order. So, in a flashback, we'll be hearing the story about their marriage. Okay. After the marriage, see, many times in movies they show flashback, right? The story picks up somewhere in middle of somewhere, and then flashback we go in the past. So here the same approach is going to take place. After the marriage, he mounted his chariot to return home with his newly married wife Devaki. Okay, so the comments to that were Acharyas, and again this is Sridhar Swami Maharaj, and his comments are somewhat modified or elaborated in a particular way by our Gaudiya Acharyas. So this was the day after the wedding. In the same context, there is the background story to narrate Vasudev's Krishna's birth in a Kamsa's prison. So that we will hear later on. Now Kamsa, the son of King Ugrasena, to please his sister Devaki, he volunteered to drive that chariot. Okay, and he was surrounded by hundreds of golden chariots and so on like that. So Kamsa, named so on account of his harm to the world. The very name Kamsa, what Acharyas explained, Jagat Dimsa, he was the one who is very prone to committing violence. That's his very name suggests that. He's the son of King Ugrasena at the time. That time, he was the son of Ugrasena. Devaki is Kamsa's cousin sister. And I just told you that Devaki is the daughter of Devaka, Kamsa's paternal uncle, Surasen's younger brother, Devaka. Okay. So he grabbed the reins of the horses immediately. He volunteered and took care of that. What it means, according to Acharyas, that he himself took on the role of the chariot driver. Now, generally, chariot driver position is quite inferior, right? But here he volunteered that out of his love for Devaki. But that love suddenly disappears. Just see it a moment. So Kamsa's great affection for Devaki is implied in this way. Everything starting from this is for the sake of informing about Kamsa's wickedness. So this is our Acharya's comments, okay, right? Manifested through various malevolent actions about to unfold. What is malevolent? That means not so good, okay? That's going to start now. So Devaka's father, King Devaka, was very much affectionate. Of course, then he gives a lot of very precious things in his dowry when his daughter getting married. So that is the description, okay? So Kamsa's cruelty that follows is impossible in such a festival. While describing the wedding festival in 3 verses, at first with this set of 2 verses, he talks about the bestowal of embellishment of that. You know, all this, so many precious. Look at the numbers the father gave when she and her husband were leaving home. He gave her a dowry of 400 elephants, nicely decorated, each of them decorated with golden garlands. He also gave them 10,000 horses, 1,800 chariots, and 200 very beautiful young maid servants, fully decorated with ornaments. So just imagine the opulence of this kind of kingdoms, these kingdoms. When the bride and bridegroom were ready to start, conch shells, bugles, drums, and kettle drums all vibrated in concert for their auspicious departure. So Sanatana Goswami and Jiva Goswami says, at the outset, the instruments played by themselves, that too is a sign of future auspiciousness. Okay. I will tell you when important elements comes, okay? We'll spend more time on that. 34, 35, 36. When an ominous voice warned, so right there, when Kamsa took over the chariot driving, and as he was proceeding further, suddenly the voice heard from the sky. Okay? The Devaki's Ashtam Garbha will kill you, O fool. While Kamsa controlling the reins of the horses was driving the chariot along the way, an unembodied, what is unembodied? No person was seen that, okay? It was just a voice heard. Incorporeal voice, some divine voice. Actually, it was from the demigods, devas. Addressed him, "Oh foolish rascal, the eighth child of the woman you are carrying, that you are driving the chariot, is actually going to be your killer." Eighth Ashtam Garbha. Now Acharyas specify it was not used plainly as eighth son, the Ashtam Garbha, precisely to bewilder, to later cover the point, because the arrangement was to be done. Yogamaya is going to appear, because remember, Vasudevji is going to exchange Krishna that appeared, Vasudev Krishna that appeared to Devaki, and Vasudev Krishna informed him, ordered him to take him across Yamuna, and that was during the monsoon period. Yamuna river was in great turmoil, and Vasudevji on foot was taking this baby Krishna, Vasudev Krishna, on his head in a supru kahiye apne, you know. He was carrying that, and the Yamuna river Yamuna parted to let Vasudevji go across. Okay, and there was a Sheshnag was just behind to give shelter. So, and then Vasudevji exchanged with Vasudev Krishna, baby Krishna, with Krishna that was there already delivered by Yashoda Maya. Okay, and that expansion merged within Vrindavan Krishna. We'll describe that story, okay, and why our Acharya Gaudiya Acharyas and how very powerfully explained that, the reason for that, which is not given in Bhagavatam. So the ethereal voice came from the Devas on account of Kamsa's affectionate conduct for his sister Devaki. The Devas decided to eliminate the cause of his affection for her. So that later on we'll be hearing even Narad Muni plays such a role, which is quite surprising, to facilitate, to expedite the killing of Kamsa. Kamsa was too affectionate to Devaki, right? So Devas didn't want that. They wanted to expedite that. So here, particularly, this voice came for that reason, according to Acharya's comments. So upon hearing this Aman from the sky, wicked Kamsa immediately all this love, affection for his sister completely disappeared. And he was going to kill her right there and then. He just grabbed Devaki's hair with his left hand, and he pulled out with his right hand his sword, and about to chop off her head. That's when Vasudevji now intervenes. He was addressed in this way, Kamsa, merely by that voice, but he did not consider the meaning, because he is wicked, meaning he does not have any connection with goodness, and he is the embodiment of sin. That is the kind of wicked person he was. And we'll hear the story, the background story, why it was like that. Because both his father and mother are very, very pious souls. Maharaj Ugrasen and his mother, Maharaj Ugrasen's wife, They were very pious souls. Right from his birth, he was even the spoiler of the Bhojas dynasty, let alone the spoiler of his own. He did not grab her after blanketing her, nor after reprehensibly touching her. Rather, he grabbed on the hair, Kesha Grahita. So very roughly he handled Devaki, according to our Sanatana Goswami and Jiva Goswami's commentaries. So there is a Harivamsha account is also there. That's where the Harivamsha story, that's where I got from that, and Acharyas explained that. The story, what's the story in brief? Actually, once when Kamsa's, the Ugrasen's wife, Maharaj Ugrasen's wife, went to a garden on a mountain, and there this Gandharva, Rumila, flying in the sky, got attracted by Kamsa's wife. Okay. And so what did he do that? He impersonated as Ugrasena, and he copulated with his wife, without she knowing. When she found out, it was too late, and she became pregnant. And that pregnancy was with this Kamsa. So Kamsa was like that, the son of the Dromila. She found out about the deception only after the intercourse. She always hated Kamsa because of that. Much later, Narada revealed Kamsa's this story. Much later, actually, he tells Narada revealed the story to even Kamsa also, like that, who was really his father. So this is in Harivamsha Purana. You can read it in much greater detail. But the great soul Vasudevji, who was to be the father of Krishna, diplomatically began to instruct him. He knew this guy Kamsa is so wicked, he's not going to listen all this preaching and all these things. But nonetheless, he had no other options. He had to act very quickly before Kamsa would kill Devaki, chop off her head. So Vasudevji's first instantaneous option was to try to reason with him, in the hope that he would listen. So fourfold, our Acharyas explained that there was a fourfold instructive approach. Instructive means he's giving instructions why he should not do such a heinous crime. The idea of describing Vasudevji as greatly fortunate, the quality of being able to remedy the situation is possible in him owing to the upcoming descent of the Lord from him. So see that it was all inspired from within his heart by the Lord, which was implied by sounds of Anaka Dudumbis. Actually, what happened when Vasudevji was such a great soul, when he was born, all the devas, they started beating kettle drums, because Krishna is going to be his son. So that kettle drum is Anaka Dudumbi, and that's why his other name is called Anaka Dudumbi, Vasudev's name, played by the devas out of his joy at his birth. Such a great soul. So he is the one who is now, just the rest of the class, rest of the lecture is going to be all about that. Such a terrible situation Vasudev faced. Just imagine yourself in that situation. There was not much time to think deeper. Whatever came, and with his intelligence, he came up with that some ideas how to do that. So this is the quality, virtues of Vasudevji. He was an ocean of virtues, such as fortitude, gravity. What is gravity? Gravity means, even though he did not have time, He thought about a well-conceived plan. With great seriousness, he puts it in action. Forgiveness, even though Kamsa was about to kill his wife, he was still kind of forgiving kind of quality that he had that. And cleverness, very important. It's so cleverly devised a strategy how to stop Kamsa from killing his wife. Why would such a greatly ferocious Kamsa listen to Vasudev's soothing words? So this was the question raised by our Acharyas. Normally, you would not expect such a wicked personality. You would hear such preaching instructions like that, okay? But Vasudevji did not put it in that way as preaching, okay? It was as if to help him to realize what a heinous crime he was about to commit, okay? See, even tiger snakes never turn a greatly fortunate man into an antagonistic person. Such a horrible person he was. So here, that fourfold instructive approaches. Now listen very carefully. It's really amazing, you know. So in this slide, I'm giving you 1, 2, and 4. Third one is a little bit more detail, which I'll show you in the next slide, okay? So let's go to these first 3, which are easier to understand. It would not be good for Kamsa to kill his younger sister. First he's pointing out that Devaki is your younger sister, okay? And that too, you're about to kill her right when she's just a newly married woman. How horrible things you'll be doing. You'll be destroying your own reputation, okay? So Vasudevji, what he does, Sam Danda Det Bhade, right? So first he uses this Sama, and here our Acharyas explain the Sama itself. Sama means actually conciliation, okay, reconciliation. In a way, you tell someone for his own good, that is Sama. Try to very patiently, peacefully, try to reason with your adversary. Okay? So this fivefold Sama is used, conciliation. First, he's showing the relationship. Who is Devaki? So he's pointing out Devaki is your younger sister. Okay? She's almost like your daughter, actually. He's pointing out. Then Lobha, gain. What are you going to gain after killing her? You're going to lose all your reputation as a great, very powerful king. That's going to be demolished. Killing a woman, such a helpless woman. Okay. Upakriti, assistance. Abheda, non-difference. And Guna Kirtana. So remember, when you're trying to reason with somebody who is your boss, who is so powerful that you can't do anything about it, you have to be very, very careful. You glorify him, but at the same time you transmit your message. Okay? And that's what Vasudev's talent here, how he's going to present that. Okay? So he who brings about the fame of the Bhoja dynasty, that very, very glorious dynasty Kamsa is in there. So that's he's pointing out the relationship. Okay? And you are killing a woman. Why would you kill a woman? Not only that, she is your sister, Abheda. And on top of that, you would kill her on the way of her return from her wedding. She's a Navodha. Navodha means newly married woman. You are going to kill her. You will attain infamy. Terrible, terrible infamy. You will ruin your reputation in this world and in the present life. And the next life, you'll go to the hellish planets. Okay? The two kinds of Veda are shown that. opposing things. By letting me keep my wife, if you let your sister alive, and who is my wife now, you would be showing great benevolence. That's also pointed out, that's called upakriti. So see how many different ways he is trying to reason with Kamsa, according to what Sridhar Swami Maharaj, and little bit expanded by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Second point, anyone who possesses a material body must die. Okay, you are doing this thing. She is pointing out what a terrible sin you will be committing. Should you think I am killing her out of her fear of death? Yeah, you might be, Kamsa might be giving excuse that I must save my life. And this sister of mine, who's Ashtam Garbha, is going to destined to be my killer. So I got every right to defend myself, he says. Okay? Still, because you will certainly have another body, since death cannot be stopped. So just because you are trying to save your life, but you cannot do that. Whosoever taken birth must die sooner or later. So you are also going to die. It's just a matter of time. You cannot remain eternal, because you're arguing that to save my life, I'm going to kill her, but sooner or later you're going to die, And because in that new body, your condition of enjoying life and your being in the object of affection will not be much different. Committing sin out of fear of death is totally wrong. Death is born along with the body insofar as the Creator has written it on the forehead. So it is in your destiny you are going to die. And this is the way you are going to die. That's your destiny. You cannot abolish that destiny. You cannot avoid that. And since things you cannot avoid, why would you want to commit such a heinous crime? Killing your own sister, who is like your daughter. So what is the drift? What is the gist of it? Their Acharya is explaining. Given that death will surely occur, committing sin just to delay it is of no intelligence. It's totally wrong. Fourth point. Third point I'll explain you in the next slide. With this bit more detail. If a person under this mistaken conception wants to kill another body, is condemned as hellish. Now he's saying you're committing sin, you're going to commit sin this way, and your reasoning for that is totally on the wrong platform. And what is the net result? You'll end up going to the hellish planets after this birth, after this life. Toward a very fierce person, only conciliation accompanied with a full praise is appropriate. So now, see that Vasudevji is acting a little bit diplomatically also. The power is now in the hands of Kamsa. So he has to take it very, very carefully, diplomatically, not antagonist like that. So see how he's going to present that. Toward a very fierce person, only conciliation accompanied with a full praise is appropriate. So while praising him, his attributes, he's pointing out that. So Vasudeva adopted that method again. Devaki being Kripana means very meek by nature. Yeah? And she's crying out of fear. Look at her. Such a helpless woman. You are going to kill her. Putriko Upama. So she's like, Upama means the analogy. She's like your daughter actually. And now Navoda, she is newly married woman. Such a condition, such a situation, you intend to kill her. And you should not kill her. That's why you cannot, there's no way you can really somehow argue that it's right to kill her. just to save your own life, but look at what you're going to do, what you're doing to do it. He generates affection in this way. So that means I'm telling you for your own benefit, for your own welfare. I'm pointing out this to you, not because Devaki is just my wife. So now point number 4. Now this slide you must really pay attention to it. So Kamsa might think this is according to Acharyas, it's just like a game of chess. You make a move, but you make a move already anticipating what is going to be the counter move of your opponent. Okay. So Vasudev's mind is going through all this thinking. Okay. When I give this point to him, what he is going to respond with. It's true. Kamsa might argue. It's true, my death will certainly occur, as you pointing out. Sooner or later I have to die, right? That's what you said, right? But to enjoy for some time, since my enjoying propensity would not be fulfilled by not having this body, I have to have this body. How am I going to enjoy? How am I going to fulfill my desire for enjoyment? I have to use my body. Protecting my body is the right thing to do. It's my right. I have a right to protect my body. Self-defense. The death of the body occurs due. So to respond that here, to death of the body occurs due to the state of the being 5 elements. The idea that the soul is destroyed is rejected because the soul is eternal. The idea that the soul is destroyed is rejected. The soul is not rejected. Soul is eternal. Okay. The cause of attaining another body is because of your karma must necessarily be experienced. Verse 45 is an example regarding the abandonment of the previous body only after attainment of the next one. Now, this is again, our Acharyas gives one good, nice analogy. How does this spider do that, or even the human being also explains that when you walk, ordinary human beings, when you walk, when you lift your right leg, right? Your right left leg puts it in the next step. Only then the left leg comes out and you move forward. The same way, your next birth is decided in this life itself. How you conduct yourself, pointing out that what will happen to your future life is already being decided upon the kind of action you do it right now. Exactly that when you lift your right leg and move forward and it touches the ground, then only left leg goes out. So first you decide your next life, then you give up this particular life. That's how it works. The translocation of the soul. So that is what is pointing out. At the time of death, according to thinking, feeling, and will, and then next life is decided by your manas, the mind. The 3 functions of the mind is thinking, feeling, and willing. So it's the mind that decides your next birth, right in this life itself, how your mind operates, what kind of feelings it has, what is it willing to do, and how the mind is thinking, feeling, and so on like that, which is involved in fruitive activities. One receives a particular body. So depending on what you do in this life right now, that will decide the outcome of the next life. In other words, the body develops according to the activities of the mind. In this life, in this very life, how your mind works, that will set your destiny. Changes of body are due to the flickering of the mind. For otherwise, the soul could regain in its original spiritual body, but since the mind is the doer, isn't only the mind, not the soul, who is not a doer, can take birth? So this is a question I asking, okay? Therefore, Vasudevji is saying, now according to what Acharyas is explaining, okay? Now you have to read it in great detail. I'm just summarizing it here. While thinking, that is, I, the embodied soul, takes birth with it. This is Sridhar Swami Maharaj is saying. It is true, there will be a certain kind of body, but a human body is hard to get. Especially, you want to come back as a human body, if you want to enjoy all these things, then you have to be very, very careful what you're doing now in this particular life. What you're about to do will abolish that thing. Therefore, Vasudeva says, while thinking, that is, I, the embodied soul, takes birth with it. It is true, there will be a certain kind of body, but a human body is very, very hard to get. Therefore, since only karma is potent, your death declared by ethereal voice, even from a son of Devaki in another lifetime, is inevitable. So what is the point of all this thing? After relinquishing this kind of sinful activity, which makes one get such a very bad misfortune right now, and also after this, given that there is a doubt regarding his previous karma of that nature, good actions should be done. So basically, Vasudevji is telling him that what you are about to do, they will totally destroy your next life. Okay. So be careful what you're doing now. Make sure you make a right action, right decision. Because your next life will be dependent upon that. In such a heinous crime you're going to commit, you may not even come back in the next life as a human even. So how are you going to enjoy then? That your goal is to enjoy. Given that there is a doubt regarding his previous karma of that nature, good action should be done, either to get a future body that will have an opulence, or to stop this death for some time, like Markandeya's Rishi did that. Should Kamsa, then Kamsa might, so he's like a chess player, he's thinking what Kamsa might think as a result of what he's just given the instructions, okay? Granted that some particular body will occur, Kamsa might agree that yes, I'll be reborn, okay? I agree. Still, evil actions may be done to protect this body of a king. I'm a king. I'm allowed to do this, whatever this thing. He said that. So he can justify so-called such a sinful act. But as a king, I'm allowed to do that, he says. Then Vasudeva's counter argument would be, just as that luminary, such as the moon, situated as a reflection in parts and so on, which are made of earth and which contain water, appears to be shaking by following the velocity of the wind. So the soul, who on account of a desire has entered in bodies that are produced on account of one's ignorance. So basically what he's saying that look, he's giving an example, an analogy, that moon is there, but you look at its moon's image in a body of water, it'll be simmering like that, right? Vibrating like that. Real moon is not like that. Real moon doesn't do that. Same way, whatever all this you're thinking, is actually is not a reality. It's like a vibration in its image, in the reflection in the body of water. See, so in which are made of earth, in which certain water appears to be shaking by following the velocity of the wind. So the soul, who on account of a desire is, and so look at the wavy motion is because of the wind, right? Here your desire that you have, selfish desire, is like the wind. that you're not able to think rationally. What you think is not going to be there. So that waving thing, which is not a reality, because the wind, right? Same way, here the wind is because of your selfish desire. Under that situation, you're not able to see what is good for you and what is bad for you. The reality is not going to reflect in that. The sense is this: owing to the wrong superimposition of the body and so on, unto the soul of a birth was mentioned. The embodied soul takes birth with the mind. Consequently, the reason is that there is a wrong superimposition of the respective attributes. So your mind is bewildering you. Your mind is playing a trick on you. Don't go by that. So now Kamsa was not satisfied any of these instructive points. None of these appealed to him. And the reason being, he is fiercely cruel and was actually a follower of the Rakshasas, the demonic mentality that he has. They don't listen to these rational things. Therefore, he could be neither pacified nor terrified by the good instructions given by Vasudevji. He did not care about the result of sinful activities, either in this life or in the next. So he is only thinking about this life right now. That's what Acharya is explaining. He was naturally pitiless, and moreover, he was a follower of the Asuras. The Asuric viewpoints he has. They don't listen to reason. Kamsa follows the opinions of those who are the associates of such Asuras. Out of amazement that he had not stepped even after hearing such a discourse filled with Sama and Veda. All these philosophical points that Vasudeva is raising did not appeal to him. When Vasudeva saw that Kamsa was determined to kill his sister Devaki, he thought to himself, now Vasudeva is thinking inside, okay, what is my next course of action should be? He doesn't have much time left now, okay. He tried his philosophical approach, then that didn't appeal to him. So what is my next course of action? How am I going to save Devaki? So that is his point now, okay. So now pay attention to his inner thinking about this, okay. He thought to himself very deeply, considering the imminent danger of death. He thought of another plan to stop Kamsa. So Vasudevji, as Anakdudumbi, this inauspiciousness that is happening to me will not last, because at my birth, so now look at the reasoning goes within his mind. I'm talking about Vasudevji, okay? And he must come up very rapidly, very soon. Otherwise, he's going to lose his wife, okay? So, because of my birth, the Devas sounded kettle drums. So he's remembered the demigods had sounded this kettle drums. That's why my name is Anakdudumbi. So he explored ways to make death go away. So there must be a reason for that. When Devas themselves sounded kettle drums on my birth, there must be a way that I can save my wife's life, according to this our Acharya's comments. As long as he has intelligence and bodily strength, an intelligent person must try to avoid death. This is the duty of every embodied person. So look at that. Whenever we get to this kind of situation in our life, two things you must be careful. Have a steady mind. In a disturbed mind, you will not come up with a rational approach, doable approach. Okay? Steady mind, and whatever the intelligence that you are being endowed with by the Lord, make use of that intelligence. And that's how you come up with that. Only with a steady mind, you'll be able to rightly use your intelligence whenever you're in difficulty. And difficulty will come like that sooner or later in everyone's life. You have to make a right decision. When you are at the threshold, should you turn left, should you turn right, or should you go forward? Going backward is no option. You have to move. So what should you do? You have very little time. So systematically analyze your options. And that you can do with a steady mind only. Once the mind is lost under adverse situation, you'll bound to make wrong decision. So have a steady mind, use your intelligence, rely upon the Lord, and analyze the situation. And Lord will help you to get the right decision. That's what is happening to Vasudevji here. This is the duty of every embodied person. But if death cannot be avoided, in spite of one's endeavors, a person facing death commits no offense. So see that? When the death cannot be avoided, okay, no matter whatever options that you choose, when person facing death, he commits no offense. Whatever comes to your mind, put it in practice. Relying on the Lord. Okay? This scoundrel, he won't come to his senses. With that in mind, Vasudeva speaks to himself. Again, his mind is working on that, okay? In the matter of preventing Devaki's death at the hand of Kamsa, a rise of my bodily strength is useless. Obviously, I'm at the receiving end. He has the sword. I cannot do that. Obviously, however, as a rise of my intelligence will most likely become fruitful. So I better make my only weapon is my intelligence, with which I must come up with an option, viable option, according to Acharyas. Okay, let's take 5 minutes break. See if we have any questions also at the time. Because now we are going to talk about what option he's going to take. It's not a desirable option he has. He has to offer his newborn babies in return, because right now his immediate purpose is to save Devaki's wife. Only Devaki survives, then only the children will come. According to Akashvani, my 8th child is going to kill this Kamsa. So somehow or other, I must attend to save my wife. She was willing to give up that. And behind that thought, what goes in the mind, the next couple of slides will show you that. So pay very close attention. Any questions you have?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
Yeah, Raksha,
प्रभु जी, अभी आपने यहाँ कहा कि अगर जो भगवान पे रिलाई नहीं करता है और माइंड स्टेडी नहीं है जिनका, तो वो might be taking the wrong decision in their life.
Yes, no doubt about
तो
it.
प्रभु जी, अगर जो अथिस्ट है, जो भगवान को मानते ही नहीं है, तो उनका तो माइंड स्टेडी होने का संभव ही नहीं हो सकता है ना प्रभु जी।
Yeah.
तो वो जीवन में सारे गलत काम ही करेंगे फिर, ऐसा?
Yes, that's what exactly happened. That's what exactly happens with those people. They resort to their impulses. They act impulsively, and they end up.
मतलब मन में जो आएगा वो ही करेंगे। मन में जो आएगा वो ही करेंगे।
Yeah. Look at how
so
carefully.
It is more important to be a spiritual, ना प्रभु जी?
Yeah.
जितना भी हम भगवान।
But फिर भी देखो, ये वसुदेव जी भी कितना बड़ा डिवोटी है ना, great devotee है, right? Still, he was put into that kind of situation. So that's teaching us. Just because you're a devotee doesn't mean Lord is going to save you. but he wants you to make initiative while depending on him. Lord has given you some intelligence. He has given Shastras. Learn from the Shastras. You can utilize all these things in a spur of a moment. You don't have much time to decide. See, that is the kind of situation we are learning from Vasudevji's example. How he's acting, how he's analyzing, quick thinking within his mind. And then he's come up with that solution that would appeal to Kamsa. That, okay, I'm ready to give you. You are worried about the 8th child, right? But I'm going to turn him right from first through all the 8 children to you. All the 8 newborns I'll surrender unto you. And I know you're going to kill him. Because you wait till his thinking goes, and both ways he start thinking about that. Okay, that Akashvani says something. Okay, should I believe it or not? Akashvani says my 8th child will kill. So either Kamsa is going to die first, okay, before my child comes by natural death, or he might survive, and my 8th child is going to kill him anyway, so he is going to survive by that, according to Akashvani. Yeah. So at least this way I'm going to save my wife's life. His thinking goes that way. Any other point you want to ask?
This is all like extreme body conscious, Prabhu.
Yeah. Look at the turmoil is going. It's a terrible turmoil. Churning of the heart is literally going through. Vasudev is going through. And I'm just imagining, because things did happen to me in my life like that.
So I always used to think
very similar situation happened in my life like that.
See,
You cannot be indecisive.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I always used to wonder, like, Vasudev ji made a promise that I will give all the 8 sons, but then finally the 8th son he did not give. He took to Vrindavan, right? But here is the answer you gave in the previous slide, that at the moment of death, whatever decision a person take, it's not sinful. So that gives the answer.
See, now, listen. So now further going, okay? So Vasudevji is considered this. By delivering all my sons to Kamsa, who is death personified, I shall save the life of Devaki. My house is burning now. I must first put out the fire before I think about what happened. See that he doesn't have that many options. So he's thinking, by delivering all my sons to Kamsa, who is death personified, he's sure going to kill them. Okay. Now but at least I shall save the life right now, Devaki. If he kills her, there is no question of the 8th child coming, right? Who is going to be the destiny of his killer? So he makes a very calculated risk. I shall save the life of Devaki. Perhaps Kamsa will die before my son takes birth. It could happen. He naturally could die before my 8th son come along. It turns out actually Krishna, this actually Kamsa, Vasudevji was already at the late old age. Very advanced old age, he was already there. And 8 children happened very rapidly, one by one, every year. So within 8 years, 8th child comes actually, And then, of course, the daughter also comes followed by that, daughter Subhadra. So I shall save the life of Devaki. So that was his immediate concern, okay? Perhaps so he is gambling with the lives of his newborn babies. But that's a calculated risk. I shall save the life of Devaki. Perhaps Kamsa will die before my sons take birth, or since he is already destined to die at the hands of my son, one of my sons may kill him. For the time being, Kamsa will give up his immediate threat. And if in due course of time Kamsa dies, I shall have nothing to fear. Look at very calculated risk he's taking. You know, how can your small child? So obvious question somebody might ask, or Acharya is thinking that way, that how could he be so arrogant that willing to sacrifice his newborn baby's lives? So the answer is here. Vasudeva is thinking the ways of providence which said the eighth child of Devaki will kill you are difficult to understand. Such being the case, the impending death of Devaki at the hand of Kamsa may be prevented. So first and foremost thing is that he has to save Devaki's life. Only if Devaki survives, then the question of eighth child will come into play, right? Right now, if Kamsa is going to kill her, then there is no question of eighth child. So there must be some degree of truth in that Akashvani. So that means Akashvani says the eighth child that my wife is going to survive. Look at his reasoning.
Hello? Lecha.
Sorry?
No, nothing.
Okay, such being the case, the impending death of Devaki at the hands of life may be prevented. And Kamsa's death, though warded off for the time being due to my promise to hand over my sons to him, may again come to pass. So he said that even though I may promise to him my children's, my newborns' lives, but that will pass. Okay. I will regain my power only when the eighth child will be born. So look at this reasoning, okay? Very calculated risk is taking. And remember, at that point, he could not be sure, absolutely sure, that Akashvani will come true. But if should it come true, what will be the consequences? On that basis, he's taking that risk. After promising Kamsa that the sons of all except the eighth one will be handed over to him for good, then wondering whether to voice in the sky was true. So he is still wondering whether Akashvani will be true or not, okay? He cannot be 100% sure. But assuming that might be right, then these are the consequences. On that consequences, I think I can safely take that risk. At least for the time being, the immediate benefit of that risk will be saving my wife. Only if my wife survives, then the question of the eighth child come. Okay? If my wife is killed by him, then there is no point. If sons of mine are born, and if Kamsa does not die, then after giving the sons to him, I save this woman. That's the immediate concern. Conversely, if a son is not born, Kamsa might die. So even suppose if the son is not born, Kamsa will eventually die anyway. Okay. He is thinking, going on that. So when a fire, so here's an analogy. When a fire, for some unseen reason, leaps over one piece of wood and sets fire to the next, the reason is destiny. So here, what is the destiny? The Akashvani is talking about the destiny, right? So he's thinking about destiny. That if there's a fire takes place and burns one tree, but that same fire leaps into the next tree, okay? Next neighboring tree. So there is also destiny. The next tree was not directly in the path, still got that. So how that connects with that? Similarly, when a living being accepts one kind of a body and leaves aside another, there is no other reason than unseen destiny. Do you understand that point? He says that when a living being is born in one particular body and leaves aside another, there is no other reason than unseen destiny. So whatever happens according to our destiny, what is going to happen anyway. Okay. So with an example, he says that this thinking reflection of mind is not really unrealistic, because the fate of living entities is difficult to conjecture. It's very difficult to think of like that, he says, according to our Acharyas. The fate is inconceivable. You cannot really think of it. We don't have that power to realize what is going to happen tomorrow. We have to make a decision based on today, this moment. And destiny will decide that what is going to happen. But I must act. The gist is, since the power of karma is difficult to ascertain, even his death from a son of mine is possible. So he says that. Why is it not possible? Maybe this Akashan is right. My 8th child will kill him. So he's willing to sacrifice for the first 6 children. After this, considering the matter as far as his knowledge would allow, Vasudeva submitted his proposal to sinful Kamsa with great respect. He said, okay. Then now after going through this mental turmoil, and all these pros and cons he analyzed, now he approaches Kamsa. And he tells Kamsa that, okay, you are worried about his 8th child, right? I'm going to turn in right the firstborn all the way to the 8th born. Every child I will turn it to you as soon as the baby is born. Would that be okay with you? Because your death is going to be by the 8th child, according to Akashvani. But I'm giving an option that I'm going to turn in every child, every baby, as soon as the baby is born. So that way he could be sure that Kamsa will have to agree with that proposal. At least for that moment, he will spare Devaki's life. Vasudeva's mind was full of anxiety because his wife was facing danger. But in order to please the cruel, shameless, and sinful Kamsa, he externally smiled, so outwardly smiled. And he even praises Kamsa. He by whom his own lotus face was rendered affectionate to let Kamsa know about his own inner serenity, and who had a heart pained by. So inside he was going through terrible pain, but outwardly smiled and posing that is willingly going to offer his newborn baby's lives to him. And that touched Kamsa's heart. Vasudeva said, "Oh, best of the Subbar, you have nothing to fear from your sister Devaki, because what you have heard from the unseen Omen, the cause of death will be her sons. Not Devaki is your cause. Okay, therefore I promise that when she gives birth to the sons from whom your death fear is arisen, I shall deliver them all at your hands." So according to Acharya, you do not fear her. You don't need to fear Devaki. Rather, you fear her 8th child. Anyway, I will hand over her 8 sons. The son of your fear of whom has arisen may be killed, or else all 8 may be killed. There's another explanation. Just as the voice said, we have no fear from that voice, but only from the 8th child. Still, for your benefit, why should I hand over that one? Why only 8th son? I'm willing to give you all 8 sons to you. Kamsa agreed to the logical arguments of Vasudevji, and having full faith in Vasudev's words, he refrained from killing his sister. Vasudev, being pleased with Kamsa, pacified him further and entered his own house. Kamsa knows the propriety of Vasudev's speech. So Vasudevji was also known that he always spoke truth. Okay, he was very honest and all these things. He had that kind of reputation. He desisted from killing his sister since she is the daughter of his parents, a paternal uncle. Kamsa thought Devaki, who too has affection for me. So in short, Kamsa agreed to that proposal. He has got nothing to lose. He is getting all the 8 children now. So here Kamsa kills Devaki's first 6 newborns. What is painful for saintly person who strictly adhere to the truth? How could there not be independence of pure devotees who knows the Supreme Lord as the substance? So this is a very important thing. Look at 4 things you are going to hear now. Okay. This verses 56 to 61. I'm already up my time. I'm going to take a few more minutes. The verse 58 is most important. We'll go through that, okay? Upon learning from Narada that, so Narada tells Kamsa that, see, Narada wants to expedite. So Narada is going to reveal everything to Kamsa. That he tells Kamsa that, look, all the devas are actually born in the Yadu dynasty and they are meant to kill you. Okay, he tells that Devaki's womb might be Vishnu, and Vishnu himself is going to take birth from her Devaki's womb. Kamsa arrested, so Kamsa immediately, because Kamsa was very, very agreeable to Vasudevji, and Narada didn't want that. He wanted Kamsa to kill more and more saints, so that Krishna will come sooner, you know. So he tells everything, reveals everything what transpired in Deva Sabha when they decided they will take birth. Their amshas will appear in the Yadu dynasty. So he tells everything to Kamsa. So Kamsa, who was willing to let Vasudevji and Devaki free from the prison, he changed his mind, puts them back in the prison, and in the prison he is going to be able to watch every son being born to Devaki. He is going to be able to control everything. Narada also revealed to Kamsa his previous birth, that he was Kalanemi, the demon. Okay, and that 6 Garbha, Shada Garbha, there's a history behind that also. I'll tell you tomorrow, maybe. Not tomorrow, next time. Yeah, tomorrow we have class 2, right? Yeah, correct. So first this verses, okay? Each year thereafter, so one by one, the 56 through 61 verses. So, and then we'll see the analysis of this. Each year thereafter, in due course of time, Devaki, the mother of God, and all the demigods gave birth to a child. Thus she bore 8 sons, one after another, every year, and daughter named Subhadra. Vasudeva was very much disturbed by fear of becoming a liar by breaking his promise. So as soon as the first child is born, and first child's name was Kirtiman, into his hands of Kamsa. Actually, the first 6 were born, they were called Shada Garbha. They were actually the sons. Kamsa, in his previous birth, he was demon named Kalnemi. You know, that story will come. What is painful for saintly persons who strictly adhere to the truth? How could there be independence of pure devotees, for pure devotees who know their Supreme Lord as the substance? What deeds are forbidden for a person of the lowest character? So this verse 58 is very, very important. Okay, we'll pay special attention to that. When Kamsa saw that Vasudeva being situated in truthfulness, so Vasudeva proved himself. Whatever he promised, he was willing to deliver. So as soon as the firstborn, Kirtiman, was born, he delivered in Kamsa's hand. So he was very pleased with that this Vasudeva was so sincere, so honest. So first instance, he let him take, oh, I'm not worried about your first child. It's the 8th child is going to kill me. So I don't need to kill your first boy. Please take back, So Vasudevji, after reluctance, he knew this guy is going to change his words any minute. So he reluctantly took that baby back. But then Narad Muni again comes back and tells Kamsa that you don't know which 8th will be there. It could be circular numbering also. You don't know. You cannot be sure. So he forces Kamsa, Narad Muni, to kill all first 6 newborns. So verse 56, each year thereafter in due course of time, Devaki, the mother of child, and all the demigods gave birth to a child. Thus she bore 8 ones, one after another, and a daughter named Subhadra. So Lord appeared, and Vasudeva appeared as our 8th child, Vasudeva was very much disturbed by fear of becoming a liar by breaking his promise. Thus, with great pain, he delivered the firstborn. Kithma is one of the Shadgarbhas. After they as the sons of Marichi. So this was his 3rd birth actually. This Shadgarbha. They were the sons of Kalanemi, and Kalanemi himself was Kamsa. So these 6 sons were actually his own sons in previous birth. Originally they were Marichi's sons, so this was their 3rd birth as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. Later killed by Kamsa, this went to Sutala plant, and Krishna Balaram relieved them. When at the end, when everything was relieved, Devaki asked Krishna, please return my 6 sons who I lost. So Krishna and Balaram went to the Sutala planet and got back those 6. And eventually they went back to the Devaloka. What is painful for saintly person who strictly adhere to the truth? How could they not? This is a 58 verse, very important verse. 59. When Kamsa saw that Vasudeva being situated in truthfulness was completely equipoised in giving him the child, so he returns back. But then Narada tells him otherwise, So he takes back and kills him. So here, this is verses 58. Like I said, it's very important verse. Look at that verse. What is painful for saintly persons who strictly adhere to the absolute truth? So what is he saying? That a devotee like Vasudevji, there's nothing that he would not do that. Who strictly adhere because his trust and faith in the absolute truth, they can do any kind of sacrifices. Here, Vasudevji is going to sacrifice his own sons, his own newborn babies. Okay? So that is what is given here. How could Vasudeva hand over his sons so that Kamsa will kill him? So anybody could ask according to Sridhar Swami Maharaj. So the answer would be, if I bring the boy myself, maybe Kamsa will not kill the newborn. Okay? But that did not happen. Kamsa killed anyway. So why? What cannot be done? So that is what he said, that what cannot be done by mean people. But so Kamsa is a mean person. There's nothing that he won't do that. He did it anyway. Even though Vasudevji willingly offered his newborn baby. So that kind of sacrifice is being done only by a devotee who has firm faith in the Lord. The Lord will do the right thing. So that is on the part of the saintly people. On the part of the demoniac person like Kamsa, he will not hesitate to commit any kind of heinous crime that can be imagined to extremes. But how could Devaki could abandon? So the question might be asked, okay, Vasudeva is willing to do that, but would Devaki would agree to that proposal? How she would hand over her own newborn baby? The answer is here. For those by whom the soul Hari is beheld in the heart, what is difficult to renounce? So this is what devotees are willing to renounce everything for the sake of the Lord. This is a very important lesson for all of us. Don't think about, see, people are telling me that you have a heart condition, you are doing all this thing, you're risking your life. Everybody's telling me that. My family, my wife, everybody's saying that nobody's going to come to help you. You talk so much about your students, but are they going to prevent your life? When you get a heart attack? But see, my faith is there in my Lord. I'm doing for His sake. It's His mission. Whether I live or not, it's up to Him. It's in His hands. My job, as long as I live, I want to do it. How all these things I get from the Shastra, that kind of conviction by reading this kind of sentences, this kind of verses, that is the source of my strength. Who am I to judge? I don't know whether I'm committing right thing or not. I don't know. By this 81st birthday, I may not be around according to that astrologer. I have only a month and a half left. But I don't know. Krishna can decide. He can extend my life. He has already extended 3 times my life. So my job is to do my part and let Him decide the outcome. But I must do my part. So this is the strength of a devotee and his faith in Krishna. But the demoniac people, they will not stop at any kind of heinous crime. Could there not be an independence of pure devotees? So here the question, how could Vasudeva hand over his son so that Kamsa will not kill him? His thought was, if I bring this boy myself, maybe Kamsa will not kill the newborn. That's a possibility. But it didn't happen that way. Somebody might point out that Kamsa was worst. He killed him anyway. So what cannot be done by mean people? But how would Devaki abandon her son? Then he said, for those by whom the soul Hari is beheld in the heart, what is difficult to renounce? So all these 4 points are taken care of by this. Haribol. So we have only 15 minutes. So I'll take some question, whatever come to your mind. And those questions, if I am not able to answer, then we'll pick it up tomorrow. All right?
Very well, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Dhanavad Pranam. Wonderful session, Prabhu. So through this session, we understand the heart of Vasudeva, Prabhu. Okay, heart of Vasudeva, and what is that he's thinking, and how strategically he thought. All very, very important points came, Prabhu. And how the devotee should think. Okay, and what kind of sacrifices he should get ready. Okay. So, and also you correlated with your life, Prabhu. It is really amazing, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So my strength comes from these verses.
Yes, Prabhu.
I conducted myself.
What is so inspiration for you is many people would have asked you, Prabhu. But this is this Bhagavatam is a inspiration for you.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanavad Pranam.
So we'll decide. Just my 81st birthday is coming very shortly. We'll see what happens. Okay, Rakshamati, તમે કઈ કહેતા?
હા પ્રભુજી, હરે કૃષ્ણ પ્રભુજી. So wonderful class, પ્રભુજી. બહુ બધા lesson શીખવા મળ્યા આમાં. We have to learn so many things in our life also. We should apply.
In the lack of time, I could not detail, but please take your time and go through my slides and read those comments. There's so much to learn. This kind of situation can occur in everyone's life, potentially.
It is already occurring, Prabhuji. आती रहती है वो situations.
तो भगवान के भरोसे रख के जो आपके हाथ में जो है वो करिए, and let Krishna decide the outcome. Whatever the intelligence He has given you, make use of it. Okay. And solve the immediate problem. Whatever the problem that is facing you, solve the immediate problem. Don't think of tomorrow.
Yes, Prabhuji. Whether it is health also, na Prabhuji?
Yeah.
अगर health का भी problem है तो we have to be very we have to
take care of it, but there's a higher purpose to it. Higher purpose to it.
Yes, Prabhu.
मेरे पास भी वही सिचुएशन थी, टाइम बहुत कम है, and I'm engaged in the 5-year plan, degree plan. I don't know I will survive or not, but I have a control of the present moment. I don't have control of the next moment. So on the basis of the present moment, Krishna has given me this opportunity. I'll take it, and I'm taking it. I've taken it. Tomorrow, what happens is not in my command. It's up to him.
Hare
Any other
Krishna,
questions?
Prabhuji. Dandot
Ah,
Pranam.
Rani,
Thank you so much for the wonderful session, Prabhuji. This session gives us an insight as to how a devotee should think and act and all that. But I just have a small thought coming. I don't know, I may be wrong. Vasudev being a pious devotee and all that, why should he even have a slightest doubt whether the Akashvani is right or wrong?
At that point, he could not be sure. He's inclined to believe it, but he couldn't be sure. So he started thinking about it. If it was true, then my 8th child is going to kill Kamsa anyway. At least for now, I'll be able to save my wife's life. And suppose if it is wrong, suppose Akashvani may not be turned out right, then also what is there to lose? If Kansa is going to spare my wife's life, at least for the time being, he might meet a natural death before my sons come into life, because before my sons are born, it might happen that way. Or my sons would come, and one of my sons might kill him. So he takes chance of both sides. Suppose if the Akashvani is right, then I got nothing to lose. Even if it is wrong, still I'm not going to lose, he said, because he is going to be able to save his wife. Then the question of 8th child will come. So
Hare Krishna,
that's the
Prabhuji.
point. He tended to believe it, but he couldn't be sure, 100% sure.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you so much.
So he could not risk his wife's life. Yeah. Any other point?
So Prabhuji, here is one doubt, small point. So because of the too much affection towards Devki, तो कंस ने थोड़ा तो सॉफ्टनेस बताया, फर्स्ट चाइल्ड को दिया उन्होंने वासुदेव जी ने.
That first child was given. First child was returned back because of realizing Vasudevji's sincerity. What he promised, he actually did it. Even though first newborn, who would be able to give like that? A normal person would not be able to do it. So he appreciated that fact. Okay. But then Narada Vidya. Narada came along. No. You're doing wrong thing. You don't know. The numbering cannot not necessarily be linear. It could be circular also. First could be the 8th one too also. It is circular.
But it shows some kindness of Kans, na Prabhuji. थोड़ा तो उन्होंने kindness दिखाया.
He was impressed. He was impressed by the sincerity, and he said, and then all that instructions, teaching, preaching that Vasudevji gave him, he started thinking, why should I unnecessarily commit crime?
But here Narada interference is also important.
Yeah, he wanted to because Narada and Devas, they all wanted to expedite this killing of Kamsa, expedite Krishna can come quicker, like that, If Kamsa is too lenient, not committing sins, then how would that happen? उनका पाप ना जो घड़ो जे भराई वो जल्दी ना. Yeah.
तो जबरदस्ती भी भरावी રહ્યા છે એવું લાગે.
जल्दी expedite करो माइचे. And they knew the character and nature of this Kamsa,
Yes, Prabhu. Not steady mind.
No. Okay, Sharad Prabhuji, you have some few minutes.
Yes.
Some of the questions that I could not take will continue tomorrow also. Okay. Yes.
Hare Krishna,
Sorry.
Prabhu. We'll just take 1 second before the sorry, Prabhu. So very good class. Thank you very much. Every time I used to wonder why Vasudev ji promised to give 8 sons. That's to save Devaki. So that is answered. But the 8th son he actually did not give. He gave the 7, and then of course 6, and then the 8th one he transferred. So he spoke, he committed, but today class, in the slide you explained that the person at the time of death, may make some, just to save him from the situation, whatever he does is not a sinful act in that sense. So he was dealing with Kamsa, very difficult, and lot of practical lessons. So thank you very much. Sorry,
And
yes,
the story is given there, revealed that those first 6 newborns, they were going to be killed. They were actually going to be killed by Kamsa. They were his own sons in previous life. And the 6 Shadagarbhas were the sons of Kalanemi, who was Kamsa, and Kalanemi, and these 6 sons were cursed by Brahma, actually, and these were the one who were destined to die. The 6 Shadagarbhas, I think I didn't have much time to go in detail, but if you go through that story is there in Harivamsha Purana, and they were actually Kalanemi was the son of Hiranyakashipu, Okay, go ahead, Sharad Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So that was the destiny of this first 6 newborn to die anyway, to be killed by Kamsa. Yeah, sorry, Sharad Prabhuji, go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhuji. In the beginning of today's class, we heard about the verses 7 to 11, Vipadam and all that. I want to remind you there is a very good verse on the 14th chapter of this 10th canto, which says, Samasritaye padapallava plavam, mahat padam punne yaso murare, bhavam budir vatsa padam paramam padam, padam padam yad vipadam natesam. And the ocean of material world is like water contained in a calf's print. Please read that. The second part regarding Mathura Mahatmya, please read if you get time. There is a book by Rupa Goswami regarding Mathura Mahatmya. And one of the explanations of Mathura, he gives quoting from Gautamiya Tantra. He says the place that crushes all the sins and grants the supreme destination where the supreme person resides is known as Mathura. Then the next point I want to give regarding this Akasvani, when Kamsa was taking the Devaki and Vasudeva on a chariot, and it says the Ashtam Garbha will kill him. But there is something in the Harivamsa Purana. It says that after the advent of primary portions of Lord Vishnu and the demigods, Narada Muni himself, he approached Kamsa to inform him of the impending danger on him. He said that I had gone to Brahmaloka. There I saw the demigods in that assembly who were discussing very, very confidently about the ways and means of killing you and your associates. And he also said that the 8th son who will be born from the womb of your sister Devaki in Mathura will be the cause of your death. And he is a transcendental personality. He was the cause of your death before, and this time also he will decide your fate. Thereafter, Narada Muni left, and when Kamsa decided that from that day onwards he should start annihilating the demigods, the human beings, and everybody, then he ordered his friends to get together like Keshi, Pralamba, Dhenuka, etc. and he wanted Devaki to move freely in her own apartment, well guarded by his men. However, when she became pregnant, she should be kept under our full control. He said, my wives will keep an account of her pregnancy right from the month of conception, and let my servants carefully guard Vasudeva and Devaki throughout the day and night, and let some women also keep an eye on them. Kamsa became very much frightened and began to devise various plans for his own protection. Then regarding the sons of Devaki who were killed, they were destined to be killed because they had once insulted Lord Brahma, and it was Lord Brahma only who had cursed them, you will be killed by your father. That's why they were killed by his father, that is Kamsa, who was Kalanemi beforehand. So this much regarding the today's class. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Any other point before we conclude the class? All right. So tomorrow, Prabhuji, Sarat Prabhuji, you are going to
Yes.
recap what we discussed today,
Yes.
okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
And no more than 15 minutes. Okay. Anyone else before we conclude the class? Otherwise, we can continue. You can ask me questions tomorrow also, okay? Haribol. So let's conclude the class. This is time now.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai ho. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. प्रह्लादलाददायिने हिरण्यकाशीपूर्वक्षः हिरण्यकाशीपूर्वक्षः शीलटङ्कानखालाये शीलटङ्कानखालाये इतो नरसिंह परतो नरसिंह इतो नरसिंह परतो नरसिंह यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंह यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंह बहिर्नरसिंह हृदये नरसिंह बहिर्नरसिंह हृदये नरसिंह नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपदे तव करकमलवरे नाखा अद्भुत श्रृंगार दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृंगा केशवधृता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय हो नरसिंहदेव 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 जय हो नरसिंहदेव जय हो प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय हो प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव गुरुदेव